Welcome to your Daily 5 for Monday, March 25th, 2024. Today is the first in a small series of fives about the state of the internet at its 35th anniversary. And these fives were really inspired by last week's episode of Security Now, which was episode 966. I'll link, of course. And I want to say up front that none of these fives are meant to be any type of direct criticism of Steve Gibson, who is a security researcher who is on, I think, every single episode of that show that's ever been on. I don't want to in any way make this that I don't think that Steve is interested in user privacy. I think if you just look at his track record, he obviously is. He's an extraordinarily smart and intelligent individual who I respect quite a bit. But I do have an issue with a phrase that he used in episode 966 that many people use when they're talking about the internet as it currently exists. And that is the phrase, the internet is free. I often use that as a way to offset, or at least justify, and again, not saying condone, not saying any of these people are happy about this in every case, but as a way to offset some of the really terrible practices that we are well aware are happening in terms of data monetization, people having their information brokered, sent, collected without their knowledge, all of these things. And what many people will say is, well, yeah, but without that, the internet wouldn't be free. And I have several issues with that statement, which will be spread across three fives. Let's start with the primary one, which is a purely financial one. The idea that the internet is free in the traditional sense of the word. The internet, and this is why these are all going to be titled this way, the internet is not free. The internet has never been free in the way that some people view it. Because I think a lot of people will sit there and go, yeah, advertising is the reason that the internet can be free. Except it's not free. So let's just start at the base level. How do you connect to the internet? Most people are probably using one of two avenues. One, a home internet connection like a cable or fiber or something like that, which is not free. Or they're using their cell phones, using a data plan of some kind, which also is not free. And when I bring this up, I'll hear people say, yeah, but there's low-cost programs for people who are poor. There's free cell phone programs. Okay, or you go to a Starbucks and you can use their Wi-Fi for free. That's not free. It's not free. Just because you aren't paying something directly for it doesn't mean that it's free. There has always been a cost to the internet. And that is the thing that I think is one of the reasons I don't like this phrase, the internet is free, is because a lot of people will take the word free and associate it with no cost. And those are not the same thing. Now, that's not me arguing that the internet should become a tiered system where everybody has to pay for every bit of access. I'm fine with the idea that users have a choice, and if they want to allow themselves to be monetized in exchange for the providing of a service, that's fine. But again, my problem, or one of my problems with this idea of the internet is free, is it makes people think there isn't a cost to something. And taking away all of the data brokering, all the data monetization, all the user privacy violations, take all that out of the equation, and you still have something that we are now dependent on that does have a cost. Somewhere this is being paid for. That hardware doesn't generate out of the thin air. It isn't maintained, cooled, powered, upgraded, and then replaced when needed for free. Even programs that are like a free program of whatever kind, it's being subsidized somewhere. Someone is paying. And that's one of the fundamental reasons I don't like when people say, well, yeah, the internet has lots of problems and, ads are bad and this and that is bad. But without that, the internet wouldn't be free. It's not free. Let's stop saying that, because that phrase, again, a lot of the people who use that assume that people who hear it have a technical knowledge where they will know the nuance of the word free in this context and what it actually means. But most people don't. Most people will hear the word free and may experience it. Again, somebody who goes into Starbucks and uses free Wi-Fi may not be thinking about the fact that somebody has to pay for that. They just think of it as free internet, but it's not free internet. It's just not costing them anything. And this may seem like a pedantic thing, and you're getting into, the use of words, and this is really granular, but this stuff matters because this informs how people look at these, in many cases, what we consider now foundational systems that we all rely on. And if you start thinking it should be free, then you're not going to examine the fact that it does make sense that somebody has to pay for it. And therefore, there are things where monetization makes sense in one way or another. And again, it's a bad thing to get used to something being free. Think about Napster, music, all that stuff and what that's done. So let's just stop saying the internet is free for many reasons, but one of the primary ones is too many people think free means no cost, and that is just not true. Later.